Welcome to the Beyond Barriers podcast. If you're an ambitious woman who wants to advance in leadership, then this podcast is for you. This podcast is co-hosted by Nikki Barua, digital innovator, serial entrepreneur, author, and speaker, and Monica Marquez, senior corporate leader, ex-Googler, and diversity expert. From inspiring stories to cutting-edge strategies, you'll learn how to develop the skill set, mindset, and tool set to get future-ready fast and accelerate your success. In this episode, we are going to talk about celebration and celebrating not just in that sense, like the big holidays and things, but also celebrating the small wins and accomplishments and your successes.
Yeah, sometimes it's just those tiny little baby steps,
Yes.
right? Just being able to take those baby steps and make progress. It's kind of like running a marathon, right? You've got to keep fueling yourself and getting that energy to keep going, because if all you do is just wait until you win the marathon or complete the marathon, that's pretty exhausting. And it's not, doesn't give you that motivation to keep going towards that big dream.
Yeah, celebration for me is kind of like practicing gratitude. What are those daily little celebrations, those things that you're grateful for, those little things that help you get through your day, your week, your month? And we forget sometimes to celebrate those things. We focus on the things that like are upsetting or the roadblocks and things. So I've learned that the more I celebrate the little wins, the more energized I feel, like you said, kind of just, just helping yourself move forward.
Well, and if you bring the same kind of excitement to the little wins and the small steps as you do to the big events, it can make every day, every week feel pretty special. I know for us, like celebrations are such a big deal because, your mom loved to celebrate.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And, every holiday was just, oh my gosh, it was just an all out decoration and food fest and all kinds of stuff. So it was made every moment very special. But applying that same mindset to what if every week could feel that way? What if every week felt like there was a reason to, acknowledge your, blessings and to be able to celebrate your progress, not just wait for that special something to happen. When you take a moment and just pause and reflect and enjoy it.
In our home, we grew up around, my mom had a way to keep the Christmas tree up from December all the way through August in some cases. And she would just switch the things out to Valentine's, to Easter, to, St. Patrick's Day, to you name it.
It was like an all-purpose Christmas tree that just had a reason to stick around.
And she was doing that way before it became a trend. But I have to say that having that decoration and it's celebrating those things just gave the house a much more festive feeling. Like there was just this sense of purpose and just happiness.
Something else to look forward to, right? Because just when Christmas is done, it's like, okay, what's the next holiday?
The next thing?
What's the next thing? And there's always some reason to, have unicorns and rainbows and chocolates.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So let's talk about, just what we're celebrating, right? Just getting into that practice of what are you celebrating this week? What are you celebrating today?
So, for me, what I'm celebrating, lots of little things, but I think this week I'm celebrating that I just had a really productive and inspiring week. I, had the opportunity to speak to some really inspiring senior leaders, and I learned so much from them. And there were some things that were not so much that I learned, but they validated some of the things that I was feeling in terms of, not setting boundaries and how do I set boundaries? And it's like, oh, I'm not the only one who deals with that. So then celebrating the fact that I'm not the only one who deals with it. But then also I learned ways that they manage that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to put that into practice. And so, there was a moment where I wrote something in my calendar and then I was like, nope, I'm not moving that. And then celebrated that, like, yay, I kept this time for myself. So celebrating little things like that, where just taking the action in doing something that you've never done before and saying, I'm celebrating the fact that I'm starting something new. So I'm all those little things.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Well, for me, this was a really big week in that I had to deal with something really tough. So it's one of those things when you've got to deal with a really complex challenge or something that's just scary and difficult and risky even. it's easy to procrastinate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like, oh, I don't know if, maybe I can deal with that tomorrow. And you just keep pushing that off. And I was dealing with 4 different issues that were all equally complex and challenging,
Mm-hmm.
all in the same week. And, I didn't get everything resolved, but I did take action on all 4 things. And I solved 3 of them very successfully. And the 8th one, I just dealt, 4th one, I just dealt with it. So I'm just, super stoked about just not procrastinating, dealing with things head on, not avoiding the pain, not avoiding the fear of it, just dealing with it. So I'm just celebrating action and courage.
It is. And I think that's the simplistic way of putting it, is that celebrating your successes and the small wins are really just taking the actions, right? So if you set a goal for yourself to start exercising in the morning, then, celebrate the fact that maybe you set the alarm clock and woke up. Maybe you didn't make it to go work out, but at least you took a step forward, right? And then the next day, celebrate that fact that you put on your shoes and
went back to bed.
But you start taking those baby steps, but you celebrate them. And then it gives you just that little bit of endorphin that just gets you excited about let's go further and celebrate more. So,
well, in that case, I'm celebrating using the remote control to watch an entire exercise video.
Exactly. I mean, you've got to celebrate and have fun. And so why not, make it a game and seeing how far you can get and how many little celebrations that you can have. So
wait. I got to the Peloton bike and I touched it. Next time I'm going to get on it.
See, but you're getting closer and you're getting to the vicinity of it. And that's the whole point. I mean, it's like, soon enough, you'll be sitting on it and celebrating that you crossed some sort of 500-mile mark.
Yeah. I love that you have so much faith in me.
What if you could pinpoint the invisible ceilings limiting your success? Imagine having clarity on your strengths and barriers so you can take action and gain unstoppable momentum to advance as a future-ready leader. Well, that's exactly what the Beyond Barriers quiz will help you discover. You'll get your personalized score based on the 25 essential elements proven to accelerate success in the digital age, so you can understand what's holding you back and where to focus your efforts. The Beyond Barriers quiz is completely free and takes just a few minutes. Go to iambeyondbarriers.com/quiz and take the quiz today.
So let's talk about, just how to celebrate, how to make that a weekly, daily habit.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I loved doing and I learned really from you was creating a rewards catalog. For me, that was a foreign concept and but it shouldn't,
because you love to shop.
I love to shop. And when you said, listen, create your own catalog of things that you want to reward yourself with and write them all down and then use that as your incentive of hey, here's this big crazy goal or action or problem I have to deal with. And then tell yourself, well, if you solve this, you get to go shop in the reward catalog.
Well, it's pretty simple, really, right? If you have a goal, but you also associated some kind of reward with it, not necessarily for even achieving the goal, just for committing to it or taking that first step, that's pretty motivating, right? So just creating a reward catalog, think of it like, a bunch of pages that has boxes in it. You can write down whatever you want. It could be tangible things like a spa day or buying a new pair of shoes or whatever that might be. But it could also simply be like, sleeping an extra couple of hours or, just doing nothing all day or whatever that might be.
Yeah,
just
binge watching
a show, whatever it is that is comforting or exciting or rewarding that is right for you. Everyone's reward catalog is different. Mine probably just has a whole bunch of books on it for me to pick which book I want to read. But that's a reward for me. So whatever it is that works for you, just come up with a set of ideas for that. And then as you go through each week, just pick something from that catalog and say, this week, if I take action on these things, or if I, just want to celebrate myself, I'm going to pick this reward and pick a date, a time, pick a reward, and just, keep that as your goal and your focus. And then all you have to do every day or every week is, just take the moment to reflect on what it is you deserve to celebrate. That, getting out of bed and putting on your sneakers, or maybe it is making that difficult phone call, or taking action on a big goal, whatever that is, just that reflection time to acknowledge it and document it. If you think imagine if you documented every single day, every single reason to celebrate. Imagine that over the course of a year, a decade, or a lifetime. I mean, just having that simple catalog, that simple documentation of everything in your life that you are so proud of, that you've made progress on, is in itself an enormous gift.
Yes.
Right. Then once you do that, just taking a moment to actually acknowledge that win, acknowledge that success, and then share it with people that, with all the excitement to say, I did this, I'm so proud of myself that I did that. And then finally, just enjoy that reward you want to give yourself, right?
Yeah. And I think the really important thing about acknowledging is that giving yourself the credit that and that the credit is due to you as well, because we have a tendency, at least women, and I have a tendency sometimes to, whenever there's a big celebration or something that I've done, then you start to wonder, was I at the right time at the right place, or so-and-so helped me, or maybe I just lucked out, or those types of things. It's like, no, I accomplished this. I put my, I put my mind to it. I got it done. I'm celebrating, and this is how I'm going to reward myself. So don't cheat yourself of the acknowledgement and celebrating you for the contribution you did to achieving that goal. I think sometimes we dismiss ourselves and say, oh yeah, well, so-and-so helped me, or it wasn't all me. I would say take it and celebrate it, and celebrate you.
Yeah. Celebrate with family, friends, it just because we're all virtual doesn't mean there's a reason to dim the kind of celebration.
Yeah.
Right. And, just make it festive, make it count. And, for me this coming week, I'm looking forward to another exciting week of big problems to solve. And I'm going to be celebrating with all my friends in Philly. So, hey, Philly.
That's right. I mean, you need cheerleaders all around the world. So at the end of the day, put it out there, celebrate those things. And you would be surprised of how many people will, just pat you on the back and give you that thumbs up, because they are truly proud of you. They're happy to know you. And, everybody wants a reason to celebrate too. So why not, enlist those cheerleaders? And that's what I love doing as well. And part of that is enjoying the moment. I mean, I think the other thing too is when you're celebrating and people are congratulating you or telling you great job, we sometimes
just say thank you.
Just say thank you. Just accept it, take it, and say thank you. Because we tend to say oh, stop it. It's no big deal. No, don't minimize it. Say thank you and say, yeah, it took a lot of effort, energy, and I got it done. So, just embrace it. It's your celebration.
So there you have it.
That's right. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Beyond Barriers podcast. There are thousands of podcasts out there, and we are so grateful that you've chosen to listen to ours. If you enjoyed the show, please leave us a rating and tell a friend about it. And subscribe to get new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Visit IamBeyondBarriers.com, where you'll find show notes, links, and the best way to connect with our guests. See you next episode.